One of the things you have to do to get people to come onto your brand is explain to them why voting for the Democratic Party, local Democratic Party, is the way to go, as opposed to what you've been doing for the last 2 decades. It's going with the Republican brand. How are you going to bring those unaffiliated voters who voted for Boughton in the last 2 decades and Democrats who have voted for the mayor to come on to the local Democratic brand? Why should they vote Democrat in this upcoming election?
First, we're going to talk about who we are as a party and who they're not. So the incumbent mayor likes to talk about all of the good things that happened in the city and how he was the chief of staff during the Boughton administration and therefore needs to be complimented and commended for all of those things. But when something is not so good, like traffic and road paving and overdevelopment, then he likes to throw up his hands and say, well, I wasn't mayor during those 20 years, and so I can't be held accountable. So you can't have it both ways. You can't take credit for all the things that you want to take credit for and then wash your hands of those things. So we're going to talk about what it is that the Republicans are doing now. So the first opportunity in terms of wards was to reapportion the maps based on the census. The charter requires that there be a commission to generate the ward maps. That commission failed to do its job. The Republican town chairman, who was chairman of that commission, didn't present one map to the commission to study. The Democrats came up with a map, the Republicans dismissed it, wouldn't vote for it. It went back to the council, the supermajority on the council. They appointed an ad hoc committee to study it. All of a sudden, out of the blue, the Republicans come up with a map. And what they come up with was a racially gerrymandered map to keep them in power. It was a political and absolutely disgusting drawing of wards in this community. And the outrage at the next council meeting, not one person spoke in favor of the map. In fact, not one councilman spoke in favor of the map. Even the Republican town chairman who drew the map didn't speak in favor of the map. The city hired a demographer who said that the map was racially gerrymandered and couldn't stand muster. So they failed in their attempt at transparency, at open government, at letting the public be heard on the issue. And now they missed the deadline of March 1st, which the charter says you shall have a new map by March 1st. They don't. And it appears that what the Republicans now want to do is simply say, well, since we can't agree on anything, let's just use the current ward maps for this next election and figure it out afterwards, which again is an abdication of responsibility. And this theme about missing deadlines, lack of transparency, abdication of responsibility is throughout. So at the last city council meeting, when the mayor had the opportunity to allow the public to be heard on a homeless shelter, the mayor didn't let the motion fail on its own. The motion was, shall we have a public hearing on a new homeless shelter on Elm Street? 9 councilmen voted yes, and 9 councilmen voted no, which means that the motion fails. The mayor didn't have to do anything. The motion failed. However, the mayor wanted to go on record and vote no. He could have broken the tie to vote to say yes, allow for a public hearing. Instead, he voted no, almost proud to vote no, proud to say, I don't want the public to be heard on this issue. I just want to shove it down your throats and move forward. So again, this consistent lack of transparency, lack of allowing the public to be heard, missing deadlines, is going to come back to haunt the Republicans in this election.